Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to our Subscriber Game Tournament Season 4 as we continue with Round 1 action in Group A. This is the third match between Zero and Simply Zero. And Zero here in the green is flexing with a thematic composition of Liu Bei, Zhang Fei, and Guan Yu, the three brothers. And they basically don't have good units here in multiplayer because they don't have good units in the base campaign. They never got a big DLC to revamp the Shu unit. So we see a lot of cheap, high-value unit here. A lot of low-tier cavalry to facilitate Zhang Fei's potential roar. You want to rout a bunch of enemy unit, and then just chase down with fast cavalry to make sure they never bounce back. Guan Yu obviously has his God of War ability, and he's also bringing 4 Spear Guard. Liu Bei doesn't have much, but he does have 4 Saber Infantry, which is probably the best unit of the group here, and 2 Crossbow. Then looking at Simply Zero in the red, we have his staple Sun Jian, which we saw in his previous match. He's bringing 3 Handmade Guard. I think this is probably over leverage of this particular unit. It's pretty expensive and it's not a particular good cavalry option. It does provide the guard passive, but that doesn't stack. So unless you're thinking of splitting your general 3 ways and you need to attach 1 to each of your generals, I think it's a waste to go for 3 of them here. We also have some very high level Protector of Heaven, which is interesting because usually you don't want to waste money on them. But I guess he just doesn't have enough money for one particular unit, so he split it around the 3 units in his Sun Jian composition, which makes sense because you don't really get a morale bonus by upgrading those unbreakable spear guards under Huang Fusong. So the units are pretty good. You have lots of spear to counter the cav. You have 6 unbreakable unit, which counters Zhang Fei's roar. Now this is a blind pick, so obviously this is just by chance. And there's a lot of good target for Huang Fusong's Health Arrow, as well as the Flame of Phoenix on Sun Jian. And last but not least, there is Pei Yuan, who didn't bring any unit, but Pei Yuan is sort of a cheat code. He has Wisdom of the River, and he's not a strategist, so his combat capability is like a regular general, but he brings Wisdom River to the combat to debuff enemy generals as well as unit, and can be very clutch. So let's see how this battle plays out on the battlefield. So as we load into game here, we see that for Simply Zero, his units are deployed pretty standard on one side in his deployment box, but with Zero, we have his cavalry hidden on 2 sides in the forest. We'll see if he put them to good use. And let's see how they engage as they learn each other's army. So those 3 Handmade Guard are escorting the generals up so that he can do his hail of arrows. Now, one problem about this is that I believe only Sun Jian's unbreakable. So a counterplay would just be Zhang Fei with all the cavalry rushes up, surrounds them, do a roar, and chase down the 5 units that will rout, because it's a minus 100 roar. So unless you're unbreakable, which you just never drop, you can easily overcome this. So we'll see if he actually make any move against this. The cavalries are staying. They're backing up. Is there a good target for hail of arrows? I mean, you can hit multiple infantry. The best place would be from the side, but the cavalry will probably answer you. The 3 brothers are charging forward. This is the only mobile section. These are very passive and slow, so you can sort of dictate the battle and not engage near this, and they don't have any range, so they can't respond. So we'll see Zero creep up. These have been shown. They moved out of the forest, which is why they gave up their vision. There's no unit to sneak, right? So the side flank actually can't do too much because you can't actually punish this. This is all spear. I think because this is all spear with 6 unbreakable, charging Zhang Fei in here for the roar might actually be the right play. As long as the cavalry can follow up and chase, there's nothing this group can do to save them as they rout, so they're too slow. I guess they're trying to make a box. But when you make a box, what are you actually protecting from? Like, no one's actually going to charge this because there's no target. Sun Jian moves out. Now, I don't know about this. I mean, he is splitting the handmade guard, so basically one attached to each general. But the only unbreakable general gets swarmed 3v1 wouldn't be a great outcome. There's no range cover, right? If you had like a couple crossbow, you can punish the cavalry chasing up. The only thing they can do is basically stay close to their spear. Looking for openings, testing each other's micro to see who makes the first mistake, leave a unit unattended. I mean, Zero's coming in from a lot of different angles, 3 different angles right here. And he's creeping the crossbow up. I think simply Zero's comp just is very passive. You can't really even charge Sun Jian into the enemy crossbow, which he's trying to do, but he's going to get punished. There's spear over here, spear warriors. There's also cavalry that can cut them off. He's going for the charge, like right away. He's getting intercepted, so he didn't even land the charge. Because he was definitely targeting them here. And at the same time, Zhang Fei gets a good engage. He's trying to shoot his bow. And they're going for it. They're just going for pay and shot. Are we gonna roar here? If Holzman comes close, I think you roar. Nobody give the boost. Okay. It's friendly fire too. I don't know if that's worth it. So the cavalry's gonna die. I mean, they'll do some damage, but it's not gonna be a lot. Are we gonna see the roar? That's my question. No, he's holding it. I don't know why you would hold it. I think you... I mean, he killed both cav, but still. I think you would just actually activate it. So the handmade guard, which I said is a little bit of overpay. 2 of them have died. 1 is super injured. And I think this is the second match in a row that we have seen Simply Zero just go too hard at a crossbow unit that hasn't even become a threat yet. And is giving up the one big advantage he has with the unbreakable general that has a smash ability. Which I believe is still mounted. I hope he's still mounted or else he's not getting out. Yeah, he's still mounted. Crossbow's starting to just do some damage to the routing net. There's nothing vulnerable to... I don't know why he had to go after that crossbow. None of his unit were vulnerable to crossbow. Even the protectors, they have decent range block chance. And they don't have to be up front. So once again, I think we're going to try to spray the cavalry. Oh. Timely range block chance. That didn't even work. Wow, clutch play. And then the last handmade guard gets killed, and I think the guard passive goes away. Does Zhang Fei roar here? Or oh, he roared. Okay, so everyone except for Sun Jian routes. Now the cavalry needs to find targets quickly. Now this is not a great place to roar because they're so close to the enemy unit that it's hard to do the chase down. But they're trying to... Yeah, this is actually not a good place to roar. They should have roared earlier. Okay, they're splitting off to make sure they do continuous damage. That's the key so they don't bounce back. Getting the cavalry around big loop to do the chase. But the cavalry job's done. There's nothing the cavalry can do against these 2. So these generals, full health, absolutely owned by the roar. He has to get super lucky, and there has to be a gap in damage for them to bounce back. Because their morale's back, but they're continuously taking damage, which is why they're not returning from the route. Ooh, nobody gave a gap. Maybe Holzman bounces back if he doesn't take any more damage. But the cavalry's coming in. Yeah, he's splitting the cavalry to make sure they give chase. Way too passive of army. They can't dictate the pace of the fight, right? They can't go charge up. And they just have to watch as the 2 generals get wiped here. I don't even think they're bouncing back. I mean, Holzman's definitely not bouncing back with us. They just have to escort them off the field. Panshal is taking way too much damage, so even if he comes back, I don't think he's going to do anything. Handmade guard goes out. They can hunt that. That's the only unit they can hunt. And the rest of the fight would be just the generals coming back to smash them. And the Saber infantry can outplay the Defender of Empire. Right, they have to push them up now, try to get some kills, but Zero's very clean. Get a charge and get out. Yeah. There's no openings here. And they just have to wait. They're pulling back, letting the shots... I mean, don't get scared. Turtle up. Oh, they might not... No, they don't have turtle, because I don't think they have the general to give formations. But still, they have pretty high range block chance. Just deal with it. They're pulling the generals because the cavalry is enough. His morale is also lower than 100 now. His morale is lower than... Yeah, they can pull everyone back. They can form multiple angles here. So once the infantry engage, the cavalry can flank from the back. The Defender Empire can last a little bit. But it's pretty hopeless at this moment. I believe Guan Yu still has God of War. I don't think I saw him use it, but it's not going to be good against clearing infantry. Zhang Fei's ability, the splash is very small. He has to dismount to really get good damage on this. I don't think Simply Zero can win, but he can definitely choose to lose very slowly. He's throwing out traps. Yeah, this is the best target for the crossbow. I think at this point, might as well charge the infantry line directly into their infantry line. I mean, there's no great way for Zero to attack this, but we'll see what he does here. It's got to be the Saber Infantry and the Spear Warriors on a charge. Liu Bei can support that a little bit. Okay, yeah, they're just going in for damage, just using the generals. I mean, that did like, what, 14 kills? It's not a lot. Crossbow picking out the only vulnerable thing. Saber versus Defender. I mean, that wasn't a really clean hit. They should have split them, get a flank on that. This is kind of a wasted charge, but that's just nitpicking at this point. The cavalry's useless in this. They can't really charge anything except for this, but the crossbow's finishing it off. Yeah, there's no good charge target. They have to respawn with these. Yep. They're probably going to charge these into that. Ooh, that's an interesting move. I wonder if he pulls those cavalry back right after, because sustained fighting wise, these cavalry would just die. Crossbow did not pull back. Alright, Spear Guard answers into this. I don't know why these are in formation. Are they here just to look pretty? I mean, they should be in the fight. There's no need, they're not protecting anything. They're trying to sneak up a hit on this while they're microing this, but they notice. Alright, couple charge into the Protector. That's the only thing you can try to morale shock a little bit. Aside from that, there's not much. Yeah, move everything. There's no need to be here. Like, if you think you're protecting Sun Jian from getting charged by cavalry, what's the point? He has 10k health. He should be here smashing these infantry instead of just waiting it out. Okay, now everyone's moving. That's good. If they can kill enough infantry and, you know, swing the morale the other way with their unbreakable units, they can still win this. Because Liu Bei, Guan Yu, Zhang Fei just really lack good units. Yeah, let's commit to the smash. Ooh, Liu Bei gives the unbreakable. Melee evasion boost, melee attack. I mean, kind of baited them into this, I guess. Very patient play. They're just trying to cycle charge this as much as they can. It's not going to be super useful. There goes the guard passive. Sun Jian, unfortunately, is probably going to die here. I mean, that's... Can he get a good smash in? He's on foot. Zhang Fei's on foot. Yeah, he's better on foot because of the smash actually becomes circular if he's on foot. Liu Bei's also dismounted, I think. Well, okay, everyone's dismounted into the fight. They're throwing all the cavalry they can in here. Because they have nothing else to do on the cavalry. They finally beat the group here. Now they can swing over and get different angles. Zhang Fei should be thrown over here, but looks like Sun Jian's finally going to go down if they can just catch up on him with Guan Yu. Unfortunately, I think it's a little too late. If he committed those infantry a little bit earlier and just was able to wipe out these infantry here, then maybe the morale swing, you might get some morale. Oh, he surrendered. Okay. I mean, yeah, it would just be a grind here. It would have worked better in his favor if he were able to keep fighting, but with the start to the tournament for him in the groups, I think this is simply 0-second loss. He still has one more match. He could, if he win that match, get into a third place position in the group, and then time would be a factor. We'll see how things are after we finish each group. Let's take a look at the post-battle. So I think this fight went the way Zhang Fei's roar went. Zero played the comp perfectly with the cavalry spread out, waiting for a good moment to roar. Personally, I think he could have roared a little bit earlier, there was the risk that when they charged through the enemy infantry that they would get dismounted and then they just bounce back at full health and the roar would be wasted. But fortunately, they were able to break through. The brothers were able to keep hunting these two generals and make sure they fully routed. The handmaid guard, I think, is a trap because he overcommitted them and they don't last very well. They're not very strong units. And the infantry wasn't committed in a manner that needed to be more decisive. I think Simply Zero's comp was always going to be more passive. He needed to turn it to be more aggressive and not let Zero dictate the pace and where the fighting would take place, because he has the range, he has the cavalry, and he can back up his infantry line when he needs to. So these infantry, they did their damage, but because these are unbreakable, if he committed them earlier and he was able to overwhelm them, then maybe you get a morale shock on the unit, and then the only thing that's unbreakable is the obey. So then you can swing the fight that way and try to win with just your units. So instead of committing the generals charging up and getting that roared, throw everything together, because getting a square formation in the middle of the battlefield is not going to help you. But anyways, there's still more match to be played tomorrow as Group A will finish its action, and we'll see the final result of Group A after the end of tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you then. Bye!